Technology is also something that is not for the now, it is also for the future. When people and facts disagree, what helps you do the reconciliation? Technology. Technology can help you create, it can help you review, but it can also help you retrieve.
Top honors in law from the University of Ibadan, earning a first-class degree and receiving prestigious awards such as Chevron Texaco Scholar and Oyo State Government Scholar. If your hands are not too busy, please make welcome Beulah Adeoye, Amofin Beulah Adeoye. Please keep clapping until he comes up. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Honorable Member representing Egbeda Onara, local, in the Federal House of Representatives, Oloye Akinlabi, members of the Oyo State Cabinet here present, particularly Honorable Fakorede, the Executive Assistant to the Governor, the distinguished speakers we have here today present, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity you've given me to be here this morning. I also would like to thank the organizers of this excellent event. Please can we put a round of applause for them, particularly Honorable Danjo. Where are you? Right. So it was a pleasure for me to be here when I was invited to come here to give a keynote address, although it was a little uncomfortable because I had other travel plans. But seeing the people that are here, you eminent citizens of Oyo State of Nigeria, I feel fulfilled having come here. I'd like us to give ourselves a round of applause. That's rather dry. Can we? I think only these people are clapping. I said you should clap for yourselves. All right, thank you very much. And then the topic we have today, I think is something that is very close to my heart when you're talking about technology. Because technology pervades every aspect of our lives. Let's think of our daily lives. For instance, when I woke up this morning, it was with an app. An alarm clock on my phone indicated what time for me to wake up. And then when I woke up, the next thing was my personal meditation. Now, the personal meditation happened with another app, yet another app. And after I was done with that app, I then checked, what should I wear today? So what happened? I checked in with another piece of technology, the weather app. And in case you're trying to find out what the weather is today, I found out that it's likely to rain between 3 and 7 p.m. today. Otherwise, the day is cloudy, and that's a 30% chance. So if you've not taken your umbrellas, just quickly dash home and bring your umbrella, right? But that's for 30%. So that's technology in our daily lives. But then, technology is also something that is not for the now, it is also for the future. I remember studying in the hallowed halls of the University of Ibadan, just here, where I studied law. I studied law in UI. And yes, any UItes in the house? Thank you, UItes. Right. So, as far back, and this was about a decade and a half ago when I graduated from UI, I remember my project title was Conflict of Laws Issues in Information Technology, a case study of transborder financial transactions. Very long. You know, then my glasses were bigger than this. And being an EFICO, right? Conflict of laws in information technology. Now technology pervades our lives. And on the slides when it comes up, you see we have a little survey for you with a gift. But if it doesn't come up, I'll go on. The idea is that every day we check in with technology. So what technology would I use? For instance, my banking app. If you wanted to move money from someone to the other person, then you would use an application or use a piece of technology. But then I get ahead of myself. Let me talk about my career, okay? So I schooled in the University of Ibadan, and then I started working in professional services. I worked at the nexus between law and finance and accounting, which was KPMG initially, financial advisory. Then I moved to EY, financial advisory, and then I moved to Deloitte Financial Advisory. But each time I was specializing in forensic. Now, forensic is a very high-sounding word, but ultimately what is forensic? The simple definition of forensic is when people and facts disagree. What is that thing that helps you do the reconciliation? When people and facts disagree, what helps you do the reconciliation? Technology. And that is forensic. So for instance, if you created something and you're uncomfortable with it, what would you do? You delete it. And then you say, Oti lo abi? Oti lo ba? As it lo ba? Yes or no? Okay. So the question is, when you delete something on a technology app, has it gone? So technology can help you create, it can help you review, but it can also help you retrieve. I'll give an example. Let's say you deleted something, and then you called me as a forensic professional to help you retrieve it with technology. So there are tools we have. The tools include, let's say, Encase, NUIX, relativity, quite a number of tools that you can use for retrieval. It is, for example, somebody is living in a place in Ibadan. I don't know what example I should use. Maybe I should use Agowo, or I should use Foko, or Molete, or because our honorable member is here, somewhere in Egbeda Onara, for instance. If you are an indigene of that place, and you know that place, you might be able to tell that if you leave your house and you're going to the corner shop and you're going to the street, you know all the houses and churches and mosques and stores and everything at that location. You know it because it's your area. When you delete something, you have just removed the pointer to that place. It is not quite gone. So, koti law, otobati law, koti law far. Do you understand? So that's what technology. So our technology, for instance, in forensic, just to give an example, will retrieve that. For instance, if you used Encase, Encase will tell you that whereas this document was here, it has been removed. It was removed at this point, at this time, and it tells you with a green button or yellow button, it tells you, should I undelete it? Okay? That's technology for you. So that's just an example from my career. And I can go into the details of how that works, etc. For digital evidence recovery, forensic analysis, investigations, disputes, arbitrations, etc. in my career. That's the use case of technology in professional services, particularly in finance, where I worked. Now, but what is the use case of technology for us as an agent of good in Nigeria and in Oyo State? And I'll focus on three things. I'll focus on education, for instance. I'll focus on health and governance. Let's look at education, for instance. Do we all remember COVID-19? And how we had holidays for that? Did you know that there were over 1.5 billion people who were out of school during COVID-19? But if you were at home, as I was with my daughters, you had to log in and help children, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old children, get to interact with their tutors virtually. Use case of technology. They say that University of Ibadan students or universities in Nigeria have increased fees, Abi. What percentage is it? Well, who's looking at the data? Okay? But then let's also talk about governance. The purpose of government is twofold, I would say, broadly. One, making life better for the people here today. And secondly, making life better for people in the future. For governance, there are a lot of value that can be given to citizens by the instrumentality of technology. So take, for instance, you have registration that lets you know that as a citizen of Oyo State, This is your name. This is your place of birth. This is your gender. This is your age. This is etc. And because of that, you have certain benefit. That helps governance. On the other hand, it also helps governance when you can see what you've done. In my previous life, I had worked with Oyo State government to help them do a survey of all the projects they have, which is currently being updated. I have some of my colleagues here who are still on those projects. And part of what they've done to put a dashboard in the hands of the government for them to be able to effectively govern the state, for instance, is flying drones. So for instance, there are places, and I have some of my colleagues, former colleagues here, who they'll fly drones in different places and they can show you the length of the place, the breadth, what you can't see by just being with boots on the ground. That's a use case of technology. Now, but in summary, because they tell you that when you do a keynote address, you should stand up, you should speak up, you should shut up, and then sit down. So before I shut up and sit down, let me talk a little bit about the use case of technology at the Beulah Adeoye Foundation. So what we think is that the Beulah Adeoye Foundation should be an agent of good in the neighborhood. We want to do good anywhere we are, and doing good anywhere you are doesn't need a lot. It's just you putting a helping hand for the people that are around you. Now, doing good in the neighborhood also means that you could use technology for that purpose. I'll give an example. At the Beulah Adeoye Foundation, and if you've been a beneficiary or you've come to our offices, you'll find that you will not see one piece of paper. We're entirely cloud-based, okay? From your registration to your enrollment to the benefits you have. And for the benefits we have, there are over 17 funds that we manage. So trying to replicate as much as possible where there's a deficit in governance, we can then put our own helping hand to work with the government. In every part of the world, the government cannot do everything. There are public-spirited, good-spirited people that then join hands with government to then do the most they can to help people. And that's what we're doing. So for instance, when you think about the Women Fund, where we help market women, give them funding, zero collateral, zero interest, graduated to help their businesses with training and empowerment, that is one. We have the Student Fund. I've seen pictures of the Food Bank. We have the Retirees Fund. We have the Security Fund. We have the Palace Fund. We have quite a few funds that we manage to help people live better lives. Because as a matter of course, like I said, technology must be for a good cause in society. So in conclusion, last of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of this event. Please, can we put a hand together for them? Bringing, if my understanding is correct, thousands of people here to come and interact in this manner, to come and talk about the things they're doing in the technological space and to see how we can move ourselves forward. I think that's commendable. Honorable Danjo, thank you very much for inviting us. Thank you for this opportunity. And to all of you here, I'll say congratulations. What I think we should do as individual citizens, as well as the government of today is in Oyo State is a government that I respect, a government that has done very well. I think that we should, in our own little corner, while we are creating technology, we have all it takes to solve human problems. In solving human problems, you must be able to, first of all, identify the problem. Like people say, what kind of animal are we dealing with? Okay? When you've identified the problem with technology, then you want to see what are the possible solutions for that problem. How do you measure it? What is the value created? What is the impact of that technology? Otherwise, it's technology for technology's sake. When you wake up today, and let me give an example in closing. I was coming here today and I thought, how can I look like a techpreneur? So I got my clothing together and I got some of my assistants to look at me. I thought my clothing was giving. But my team had some misgivings about my clothing. So they quickly sent some pictures around and they said, Oga, no. Okay? So I changed the first time. And they looked at me and they said, Oga, again, no. Okay? In spite of their giving and misgiving, and I forgive them for that, they've kept me waiting to change to look like this. Technology could do that. It's about 2 or 3 cities that made the decision relating to being here dressed like this today. Using technology within seconds. Problem solving as simple as dressing. So if the technology we're creating, speaking here, doesn't address a problem that creates value, then it will not attract value to other people. And that's probably why some upstarts will struggle. Because if you're not addressing human problems to make things better, then it's technology for technology's sake. So our advice and our counsel as we're here and bringing our ideas and sharing, let us see that particular problem that we can solve, which technology will help to amplify, simplify, remove complexity, and put value in the hands of people. And when you put value out, value comes back to you. And that's why you also have some of the wealthiest people in the technology space. You're creating value, and at the end of the day, value is coming back to you. Thank you all for coming. You're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.